Hey, this is Meredith's husband. I've got some SEO advice for you, but I'm going to keep it really simple so that you can understand it, so it makes sense, and most importantly, so you can actually use it. You use Pic-Time, right?
Yeah.
And Pic-Time had some news recently?
Yeah. Pic-Time had some news that everybody is so excited about. Somebody literally said, I want to kiss Pic-Time on the mouth for this. And another person said, okay, this is reason enough to switch back to Pic-Time.
Right. And so what is the news? What was the news in Pic-Time?
Okay, so I don't have everything in front of me. Surprise.
Okay, well, all right. So
it's pretty much that they have a blog that's SEO something.
It's, so it's like auto-optimized. So my question, I guess, are people excited about the automation aspect of just getting a photo shoot onto their blog? Or are they excited about the SEO portion, that it's auto?
Both, for sure. Because that helps them. Yeah, both.
All right. So I get, forgive me, but I can get really upset about companies when they do things like this. Now, we'll get into the specifics of the Pic-Time auto SEO.
Okay.
But this has happened hundreds of times. I'll take, for example, Wix. I'll use Wix as an example. Wix is going to be my punching bag today.
Okay.
So people on Wix, you might be familiar if, Wix also says, hey, we have these great SEO features. All you do is you go here and you put your keywords in. This is your keyword meta tag.
Yep.
Okay.
And people are like, oh my God, that's awesome.
So
done.
Cool.
I did everything.
Great. Now my site is optimized.
I know what I'm doing.
What that does absolutely all nothing for SEO. Nothing. Not even a millionth of 1% of SEO. What it's talking about, Google doesn't even pay attention to, and it hasn't paid attention to for almost 10 years. And my problem with companies that do this is they know this. They know that it's doing nothing for SEO. And yet they're saying, here, look at these we do your SEO. And so Squarespace is much better now, but Squarespace used to be similar. But it's not these two companies alone. There are all kinds of companies that tout these SEO features that do absolutely nothing. Now, sometimes it's even worse than doing absolutely nothing. Sometimes it does more harm than good.
No.
Yeah. So when I heard this Pic-Time news, it very much piqued my interest because I'm wondering,
Pic-Time piqued your interest.
Yes. Pic-Time.
I know.
The Pic-Time peak.
Pic-Time peak.
It piqued my interest very much because I was curious. So you sent me the email that Pic-Time sent out.
Yeah.
And I followed that email and went to the blog where they announce this feature.
And Pic-Time is a very reliable, incredible thing.
It looks good. It looks beautiful. I mean, first I will say the automation aspect of it, where you take your photos and it creates an auto blog post for you and formats it to mobile and makes sure the images are optimized in terms of speed.
Yeah,
looks fantastic, and that is great. And that if that is what you're excited about, super. Yeah, It looks like a great tool. It looks like they did a wonderful job implementing. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful.
They're gorgeous.
But my concern is in touting these SEO features, and people are going to be like, oh, great, now these are optimized. I don't have to worry about it.
Yes.
My concern is just by looking at the email was like, oh, wait, that has the potential to do more harm than good for your SEO.
Wow.
So I went and looked. I read their blog, and like I said, it looks gorgeous. It looks absolutely fantastic. But this could create a red flag. If you do this, if you do their auto SEO features and then you don't do anything else, I think it's more likely than not you're going to raise red flags with the Google spam team.
What?
This is spam. This is what we would consider spam in the SEO industry. So I need
to share this with everybody who is so excited.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you what you would need to do to avoid this being spam.
Oh, perfect.
But first I'm going to go to the Pic-Time blog and I'm going to read the portion specifically about SEO. Like I said, the other stuff is fantastic. It looks gorgeous. It creates blogs that look amazing. And so if that's your objective, like I would do it too. But you got to be very careful with the SEO portion. So
Can I just interject one thing?
Yeah.
One person said the only problem with this on the blog is that you have to stay on PicTime, because as soon as you leave PicTime, all those blogs go with it. All those blog posts.
Okay. So that's one issue that I will talk about.
Oh, okay.
But first, let me read this. So the portion from the PicTime blog says that the heading of this portion is "Increase Your Reach with SEO." And then it goes on. PicTime blogs are optimized for SEO to help you have a better presence on Google and can include links for better cross-promotion. Take advantage of our, and this is the important part, take advantage of our advanced tools such as descriptions, alt text, tags, automatic file renaming, and fast loading. So those things, like I said, the fast loading is great. Fast loading is very important, and I'm sure they're doing an awesome job with it. The other things, the descriptions, the alt tags, the alt text, the tags, the automatic file renaming, if that's all you're doing, if you're just taking that stuff and you're taking photos from a session and you're just creating a blog that has just images and you do that stuff, that's going to do more harm than good. That is what we call spamming. That is what Google would consider spam.
Why?
You have basically a useless page to users, just images. It's just images and no text, right? So to Google, that's kind of like a blank page. Now, what you're doing is you're stuffing your keywords into the alt text, into the file names, into the descriptions. That is literally what Google is looking out for. You're creating what used to be called a doorway page. Has no real value in terms of content, but you're trying to stuff your keywords in there.
Oh my God.
Okay, so that's not good. Now, there is a way around this.
Okay.
You have to add content. You have to put words on that page.
Yeah.
You have to have, if you want a page to rank in Google for anything, even if it's not very competitive, it's got to have 250 words minimum.
Right.
Absolute minimum. 350 to 500 would be better.
Okay.
But you have to have words on that page. So if you use this tool, and it's, like I said, it's a beautiful looking tool and it looks like it works great. You still have to add content. Don't just think that you're going to do this and it's going to name your files somehow magically and you're going to start ranking in Google. That's the opposite.
Is there a place to write those words on it?
I don't know. Now, I looked at the builder. I haven't gone in and logged in and created a blog this way and tested it out. But I have an.
Do you think we should?
I have an idea for that. Well,
okay.
I don't have a blog. I mean, I can't create a blog this way.
Okay.
I suppose you could. We could test that at some point. But I have another idea for that.
Okay.
But you need to add words, and also, however it auto names your files. First, file names are like super, super minor. I see this advice all the time, like, oh, you got to name your files for SEO.
Yeah.
That's super minor because when you're visiting a website, how often do you see the file names of the images?
Only if they're missing.
No, the file names. There's no
file names?
Yeah, the names of the files.
In a website?
Yeah.
Is that the one where when you hover your mouse over it?
No, the file name. That's the title tag. That's the title of the image, or sometimes the alt text. You never do. And so Google knows that. Why would Google place so much importance on something that a user to a website is never, ever going to see?
Right.
It's not that important.
Mm-mm.
Now, it does play a very minor role, and even Google says that, like, name your files appropriately, but don't stuff your keywords in there thinking it's going to do anything. Users never see that. Okay. Google is interested in what users are going to see. Okay. Right. So number one, file names, not that important. And so when you're setting this up, and I don't know what kind of prompt you give it in order to auto name your files or your alt text or whatever, be very careful. If you stuff keywords in your alt text, Google is going to know that. It's a red flag. You would be better off just going through, and I'm sure this feature is there. When you add those images, go through and just add the alt text manually. I'm sure it's there right in PicTime, and you can just say, kids playing on a swing, or a couple kissing at the park, or whatever it is, name it appropriately, because I guarantee you, if you just say, oh, my keywords are children's photography, and it's going to go in and create some variation of that for all your images, that's not good. That's not going to be good.
Okay.
So
Mm.
a couple other things that you had mentioned. So I get very excited. I get very
That's
heated
great. I
about these
know.
things.
I love it.
Because this, like, and I don't think PicTime is really. Sometimes like in the example I had about Wix, like
Yeah.
there are people at that company who know this is not doing anything. This is a little more borderline. Like, well, maybe they don't have somebody who
I
with
think-
the SEO experience, and they don't really know this.
That's what I think, because they're good people and it's a really good company.
I do know. Yeah. So I don't want to like. I don't want to use them as a punching bag. I don't want to badmouth this thing because I think there are ways you really could use this to help your workflow and be a lot more productive. And
Maybe
it
you
could be
can
good for SEO.
Collaborate with them to install things that would work and
Or
help
just, maybe. Who knows?
to make it better.
Anyway, so what you had mentioned is the one downside is like you have to stay with PicTime because if you ever leave, then those blogs disappear. Okay, so there are two, after you create a blog, if that blog is on PicTime, if it's on the PicTime site and not your website, that does absolutely, no matter what you do, it's not going to do anything for your own SEO. It has to be on your website. So the blog, and I don't know if they offer this feature, you have to embed that blog on your website, on WordPress or Square, wherever your blog is. The blog has to be on your website, and this is really important, it cannot be indexed on the PicTime site.
It is though. They have websites. You can create your website.
Yes, I know. I know, but they have to have an option, and I do think it's there. But you have to use it and make sure that you choose the option to not have it indexed on the PicTime site.
Okay.
That's really important because
Say
then
it one more time.
You have to look for and find the option where your blog is not indexed on the PicTime site. Okay. Because then if you do that, then you're going to have a duplicate blog on your website and on the PicTime site. Very bad. That equals very bad. That duplicate, that's very bad. Don't do that. I don't know how many times I can say, don't do that. Because then Google can look at it and be like, you, Meredith Zinner, just are copying this blog from PicTime and you're putting it on your own site and claiming that it's your own. There have been years and years and years of specific updates where Google found content that does that and penalizes it. So this is very important. If I haven't mentioned this, it's very important. Your blog cannot be indexed on the PicTime site. That will be a good SEO for PicTime if you do that.
Right.
Bad SEO for you. I do believe that's an option, though. I am pretty sure.
I'm sure they would have.
I am pretty sure that is an
I
option.
haven't looked at it yet. I just sent you the email.
Okay. So now, like I said, the other thing that you have to do is you have to add some content to this blog. So I don't know if you can do that right on the PicTime site and then embed the whole thing, or if you have to embed the whole thing on your blog and then add content. I have a feeling you can add content.
You mean the whole thing on their blog?
So you're creating your blog on PicTime.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there, they must have the option where you can put some text in.
Yeah.
You gotta do that. And like I said, aim for if it's anything you want to have rank at all, you got to have at least 250 words, 350 or more. Now, if you're using your blog just for your users to see like, hey, here's what a session looks like. Here are the photos that come out of a session. Great. That's super. But then don't worry about SEO and don't try to stuff your keywords in there that's just for users. In fact, I would probably, if I were working on something that was happening, I would say let's no index those pages because we don't want to even make it appear to Google like we're trying to spam the system.
How would you do that?
That's a little more advanced. I don't want to get into that right now.
Okay.
So, number one, make sure you add some content. Number two, I would go through and I would actually add your alt text manually.
Okay.
Instead of letting them do it automatically based on whatever keywords they give you. And literally, we've talked about this before. The way to create an alt tag is finish the sentence. This is a picture of blank, fill in the blank with 4 to 5 words. That's your alt tag. Make it accurate. Don't try to say it's children's photography if it's a picture of kids playing on swings. If you say kids playing on swings, kids is kind of related kids and children. Google knows the relation. So do that. And then in terms of file naming, I like to include your brand name and file names. So if somebody tries to take your image off the website, it has the file is named with your name. Like you're kind of making it obvious. Aside from that, then I name the files by the pages that they're going on, or what the shoot is, or something like that. And to be honest, that's pretty good SEO because that's likely going to include some related keywords. Maybe you're not going to name every photo children's photography or children's photographer New York City. Don't do that ever. That's terrible. But it might be, kids in a playground is related, So it's accurate and it's related and it's honest. Always try to be honest with Google. If you're trying to trick Google, they're gonna figure it out. They always do.
So clever.
Anyway, I think that's it.
That's very good. I can't wait to share this with everybody.
Oh, the idea I had.
Yeah.
So like I said, I don't have any photography blogs. I don't think you you're not doing this either. This is not something, by the way, when people say you need to blog for SEO, don't think that putting a bunch of images from a recent shoot and just putting that on your blog, that's meaningless for SEO. That's not going to do anything for SEO. Like I said, if it's for users to show them, hey, here's examples of my photo sessions and what you get if you hire me, super, that's awesome. But don't think that putting a bunch of images on a blog and publishing it helps your SEO. It doesn't, unless you have unless you have content, unless you have text. So I am not a photographer. I don't have a blog where I can test this. I was going to say, if people are using this and they want to know if what they are doing is right or wrong, to message me on Instagram. However,
at
Meredith's husband. However, I'm getting a lot of messages on Instagram now, and I don't want to reply to all of these individually. So what I will do, I think, is I'm going to create a post. I'll call it Pic-Time blog feature or whatever. On that post, if you have a blog that you've done with this Pic-Time and you want me to take a look at it and say that, give my opinion, leave a comment with the URL in that post, and then I will leave my feedback as a comment on that post. And that way I won't have to answer the same question 10 times, and everybody should helpfully get some value out of this. Yeah.
Everyone should helpfully get some value.
Helpfully. Hopefully. So I'll put that in. I'll just I'll make it like a big text thing, like Pic-Time blog SEO or something. So easy to find. Meredith's husband.
I'm speechless. A rare occurrence.
That's pretty rare. And like I said, I don't want to just flat out say this is terrible. It has the potential, if you don't use it wisely, I think, to not only not be good, but could actually do more harm than good.
Hopefully they'll fix that. They'll hear this and they'll fix that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what they would do, because it's got to be up to the users a little bit. Like there are no tools out there that are going to just do your SEO for you. Like, no, I mean, maybe someday, but still not. I mean, lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of tools have claimed to do this. Like the one that comes to mind is the Yoast, the WordPress Yoast. Yeah. The Yoast SEO plugin. And they came up with a gimmick years ago of having the red, yellow, green lights. Yeah. And it's basically, is your SEO good? Is your SEO not good? That was a gimmick.
All the time. Oh, I still can't get over that.
That's a gimmick. It's probably better than absolutely nothing, but it's a gimmick. It worked fantastically well, though, because Yoast exploded in terms of popularity. And now the other plugins are doing similar things. So Yoast did really well. It was a great idea. Did really well for them. But tools are not going to do SEO for you. If there are tools that are going to do SEO perfectly for you and get you visible in Google, like they all say, and they actually do it, then everybody's going to do it, and you're no longer going to have an advantage. Right. Okay. So if you're using this Pic-Time tool, put in a little bit of effort on your own. I don't know what kind of analogy I can use, but it's like a self-driving car. Well, you still got to get in and turn it on and tell it to go somewhere. Right. Right. I don't know. Yeah. You got to put in a little time.
Yes, clearly.
Period. All right. I hope that helps. If you have questions, look for that Instagram post on my feed in my grid.
Yes. Thank you, husband.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, thank you so much for listening. We really hope that you find this helpful and useful. And if you do, what you could do for us as a thanks would be to, drumroll please, yes, leave a review. Yes, everybody says it, I know, but it really does make a difference. Take 3 seconds, leave as many stars, say something really nice about what you like about the podcast and maybe why other people would like it. It would mean the world to us, especially my husband. That better? All right, I'm going to try one where I'm not going to be charming.